Good evening, and thank you for joining us on this Sunday evening. I'm Holly Emery, and I've got to look at some of the stories that have been happening here in the Jackson Metro as well as the country. But we are going to start things off here in the Metro in the city of Canton. We begin with a developing story out of the city of Canton where police are investigating an overnight shooting. Now, this is what we know so far. We don't have a lot of details, but this is what we know. It happened at or near the Joe Pritchard homes in Canton, and at least 2 people were shot. The extent of those injuries are unknown, but we do know that one of the victims that were taken to the hospital was last listed in critical condition. Now, we've reached out to Canton Police and are waiting to hear back from them about this incident, and we will, of course, continue to update you. Excuse me. We'll be sure to update you as we learn more information from police on this incident. Now, as I mentioned, we do have news from across the country today. Over in Arizona, there were tens of thousands of people attending the Charlie Kirk Memorial, a memorial service that was held today. Organizers said more than 200,000 people RSVP'd to attend to the event, and it was supposed to be for a 74,000 seat limit stadium at State Farm Stadium in Arizona. Maribel Gonzalez has a look at that event and takes you there. Take a look.
Tens of thousands of people packing State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona Sunday to say their final goodbyes to assassinated political activist Charlie Kirk. Lines of mourners wrapping around the block to get in.
I need to mourn Charlie, and I wanted to be with the fellow patriots.
We're here to honor a great man that was a man of God.
Several high-profile Republican leaders, including President Donald Trump, speaking at Kirk's memorial. Trump saying this Sunday morning before heading to the service.
Celebrate the life of a great man today. We want to look at it as a time of healing.
The conservative political activist and founder of Turning Point USA was shot and killed earlier this month while speaking at Utah Valley University. He leaves behind a wife and 2 young children. Federal and local law enforcement beefing up security ahead of Sunday's service. The Department of Homeland Security designating the service as a special event assessment level 1, which is reserved for major events like the Super Bowl and Kentucky Derby.
High-profile events such as this, actually, when they're coupled with significant media attention and attendee profile, really present a very attractive target for somebody with malicious intent.
Kirk's memorial comes as political figures are increasingly worried about threats and attempted attacks. The White House recently asked for $58 million in more security funding for executive and judicial branch employees. In Glendale, Arizona, I'm Maribel Gonzalez.
Now, again, we said we've got a lot of stuff happening around the country, but back here at home, switching gears a little bit, many of you were getting on the holiday spirit just a little bit early at the Mississippi Trade Mart. The holiday market was back in the capital city this weekend. Many shoppers made their way through the market to shop until they dropped. You can buy early Christmas gifts and decorations, whatever your heart desires to get into the jolly mood this holiday season. And of course, while people were shopping as usual, they had a bar that adults could grab a drink and spend more money. What's the best thing for me is go ahead and get a drink in your hand and then go shopping. Really hard to say no to a day like that. Now, vendors from the Magnolia State and beyond can be found selling goods to the upcoming season, and one of those vendors brought her family's homemade fudge all the way from Meridian.
So my parents have been in business, and we've been making fudge since 1986. They make over 30 flavors of homemade fudge, including sugar-free and reduced sugar fudge. My grandmother helped us get started in this, and my mom's mom, and we've just been doing it ever since.
Now, the holiday market lasted for 3 days, so it wrapped up earlier today with a lot of people filling up their shopping carts, getting their Christmas shopping done early. NNA is here with a look at our forecast. It's crazy. We're already talking about the holiday market and stuff like that because it feels like it's the 4th of July still.
Yeah, definitely still warm out there. And we saw a lot of sunshine today as well. We still see that on first alert radar, mostly clear conditions. But we are having some stray pop-up showers in the area, most of us staying dry. We zoom out and see that's the case across much of the state, although eastern Mississippi noticeably seeing a little bit more rainfall across the area. We're finally cooling down into the lower 90s to upper 80s right now, but our afternoon high today, once again in the mid 90s, just like it has been throughout the weekend. So we're going to continue to see warm conditions for the next little bit, but after sunset, thankfully things calming down. We're expecting dry weather tonight, temperatures in the mid 70s. We'll wake up likely in those lower 70s to upper 60s. Morning commute, pretty average as well. A little bit cloud cover, that's all. The afternoon high is going to be very warm. But things start to get more interesting and pick up in shower and storm activity, mainly midway through the week, especially as we head towards your Wednesday. While we could see those stray showers like today for your Monday evening and your Tuesday evening, really by the start of Wednesday, that's when we see this line of showers and storms coming in down from the north and west, coming down towards the south and east. And that is because we're seeing a frontal boundary. That cold front is going to push through after Wednesday evening, so throughout Thursday. And then we'll see that clearing out, and that's going to finally give us that cooler, dry, fall-like air. Whereas it's been feeling like summer, that's only going to be the case for a couple more days. When we see our 10-day forecast, it is thankfully going to cool off. We're going to be back into those 80s heading into the weekend. But on top of that, we also are seeing a lot of activity going on in the tropics. Hurricane Gabrielle has now formed. It was previously Tropical Storm Gabrielle. We've been tracking through the weekend. Now a hurricane. It's likely going to become Category 2 by tomorrow, but it is going to take a turn out towards the east, move out into the central Atlantic Ocean, actually towards the direction of Europe because of high pressure in the central Atlantic Ocean, kind of redirecting the storm around where instead of coming to the United States. But behind that, we got more areas of development. It certainly looks like late or early fall, late summer over in the tropics, things are picking up. The most likely of disturbance to become the next tropical storm is the one we're looking at where you have that orange X, the 50%.
Okay.
This is likely, models are showing now, it has a pretty good chance of strengthening and potentially becoming the next named storm. We're going to see that over the next, mainly by the end of the week is when it's going to start to pick up steam. And then that 20% that's actually closer to home, that one has a pretty low end threat, but tropical disturbance, you could see some heavy rainfall, some storms over in parts of the Caribbean because of that system. But we definitely have a lot of things to keep our eyes on heading through the week.
I know we just said the peak hurricane season was last week. Was that the date or something like that? But
yes.
That does not mean we are not.
Oh yeah,
we're not over it yet.
It's more. It's kind of like it's on a curve. So we are still definitely I would say in the peak. Not even though that the peak technically is just one day. Definitely heading into late September, we are still in the heightened hurricane season for sure, and we're going to continue to have to keep our eyes on that for October as well because it could still be active throughout the next month and a half.
I got you. Now, I wanted you to pull up that 10-day forecast. So my birthday is actually on Wednesday, so I needed
Oh,
to not
fun.
be so. I was hoping it wouldn't rain, but it
Oh,
looks like it
no.
actually might.
I think you're gonna have the stormiest birthday.
The
In fact,
stormiest birthday.
we could even see a few severe storms. Now we're not expecting widespread risk, but there's a level 1 out of 5 threat in the northern part of the state already for Wednesday, and it's likely that could be expanded because we're gonna have that cold front pass through. So
Okay.
yeah, unfortunately, Holly, I'm trying to find a silver lining, but maybe if you celebrate your birthday next weekend instead of on Wednesday,
Maybe I'll do that.
it's gonna be nice.
Maybe I'll do that, and I'll just pretend that
Yeah.
my birthday's not on Wednesday. But
I
you know
think-
what? I found the silver lining. I have been asking you for probably, Anae knows, I probably annoyed her the most out of anyone at the station when it was going to feel like fall.
Yeah, next week.
There it is.
Yeah, I think you
Basically, my birthday is the wrap up of summer.
yeah, something like that. I think if you just kind of shift your celebration or
Okay.
move it indoors,
All right.
then you could actually have beautiful weather for Saturday.
Okay.
If you want to go outside, especially.
Okay, so I'll just plan to have a birthday celebration that weekend.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. Well, at least at least we're coming into fall and it's going to feel a little bit better.
Mhm, yeah, Monday's the start, and Thursday is gonna feel like the start. Yeah.
Okay. I'll be I'll take it. I'll take it. Now, I do know that while we have had some pretty hot weather here, it's been fairly great weather up in Washington today, where the Saints were playing the Seahawks. And while the weather was great, Saints fans are going to say this game is not the best. And with me here is Saints fan and Saints fan Nathan Lee, who's going to talk to us a little bit about what he's seeing in this game. It's been a little painful for you today.
Yeah, I wish I could come in here with a big analysis of what happened. I think Saints fans know what happened. It was just a tough day.
Yeah.
Really, just when you get down like that, you're never going to come back, really. We've seen it before. I think maybe some fans remember when the Colts and the Vikings played a few years back, and the Colts or the Vikings were able to make a big 30-point comeback. That was not happening today. The Saints, that they get down 21-0. Really, the biggest thing here was for the Seahawks. They won offense, defense, and special teams. I mean, this right here is a big special teams play to kind of get this thing rolling. Obviously on that first drive they get the touchdown, but this right here was just a backbreaker for the Saints. A big 95-yard return, punt return for the Seahawks.
Just kind of poor execution of defense.
Yes, it's in special teams defense. It was really tough to watch for Saints fans, and we seen it last week, right? We see a guy like Mac Jones, and I don't want to downplay Sam Darnold. We saw what he did last year with the Vikings.
Absolutely.
But you see what Mac Jones does to this defense last week, carving him up for over 250 yards. This week, Sam Darnold goes out there and balls out himself. So you're kind of seeing a consistency here where the defense in the pass game, they can't stop it, and that was a big concern coming into the season for the Saints was how are these corners going to hold up? You obviously traded Marshawn Lattimore last year during the season. And then this year you got some young guys back there. I mean, Alontae Taylor, he's our the Saints nickel corner, and he's looked good this season, but you got a Kool-Aid McKinstry that's playing number one or cornerback while he's a talented player. He came out of Alabama, was a second round pick. He's having a hard time covering these number one guys. Jackson Smith and Jigba had a heck of a day. And there's a big conversation now with the quarterback for the Saints, right? Who is going to be the guy going throughout the rest of the season? Now, for me, as a Saints fan and watching this game, it felt like another game where you can't put this on Rattler, right? If you're allowing 21 points unanswered to get a game started, that he's not playing defense. He's not playing special teams. Now, could the offense get some points on the board? Yes, but the play calling is really interesting so far this season. It doesn't feel like there's any identity with this offense. You have a guy like an Alvin Kamara, and it doesn't feel like they're utilizing him in the way that they should be. And then we're seeing Kendre Miller as the backup running back. I told you earlier in the year, I would love to see him get some more touches. It feels like the run game. And we're talking about Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator for the Eagles last year.
Yeah.
We saw what the Eagles did on offense last year with Saquon. Now, Saquon is a different beast. Obviously, Alvin Kamara is a little bit older than him now, but we've seen
plenty of talent.
Yes, Alvin
still plenty of talent.
Still plenty in the gas tank, and we've seen him make plays this season. So I think this is just such a young team, and overall, it's talent. It's just quite literally talent for the Saints team. And when you're running into a good team, this is what I was telling some of my friends was, when the Saints are playing these kind of not bad teams, but teams that are kind of like still figuring themselves out. The Seahawks, they came out last week and put a good beating on your Steelers, actually.
I know, I was a little hurt on that.
Yeah. And this Seahawks team came out here and they just were gas on all, you know,
Foot
they
on the
were,
pedal.
yes, foot on the pedal the entire day. When you start this hot, it's hard to kind of get some momentum for the Saints. But, you know, overall, it's just a real tough day to be a Saints fan. It was a rough watch. Some of my friends, we were texting, this might have been one of the worst, definitely the worst start I've seen it from a Saints game. But, you know, how do you bounce back, right? You know, you got another tough game next week, but then you get into some games where you can possibly get some wins next week. They get the Bills, so we kind of know how probably that one's going to go with Josh Allen playing the way he's playing and with the Saints defense playing how it's playing. But then you get into the Giants, you get into the Patriots. The Bears got a really impressive win against the Cowboys today, but you're kind of getting into a part of the schedule where, hey, after this Bills game, maybe you can rally get some wins, but now it's question marks about the quarterback. Are we going to see Rattler for much longer? Is it going to be Shuck's turn? So a lot of question marks around the Saints team. Obviously, coming into the year, they had the lowest over-under for wins. It's kind of starting to play out that way, but there's wins. There's possible wins on this schedule. They just gotta figure out an identity on this offense. The defense is just going to have to step up, and you can't lose that bad special teams wise. They allowed a lot of big returns on kickoffs, and obviously that big punt return. So when you look at it, it was a 3-phase game for the Seahawks, and they won every single one of those phases today.
I gotcha. I know this is really tough for Nate to be able to again, Nate's very good at what he does, but it kind of hurts him inside. I can hear it in his voice.
Yeah, this smile is fake. This is not real.
He's kind of hurting as he's reading these.
Yes.
I'm just one question before I let you go and grab a tissue box and all that good stuff.
Yep.
Maybe a paper
been
bag.
doing that
That's
all day.
That's a little mean for me to say just yet. But again, what do Saints fans can look for? What can they look forward to? I mean, with this game, I mean, this doesn't look very good, but is there anything like positive that you saw in the game that maybe we can give a little bit of hope to some fans?
Honestly, I'm not too sure. We did get to see Shuck come into the game, so that was kind of fun to see, you know, the rookie get a couple snaps under his belt. Obviously, the game was over by then, but, you know, I don't think there's much to take away from this game. Okay. I think you got to look at it on a much broader view that, hey, this team is super young, first-year head coach. You got to give this guy a chance. I know people are probably going to be calling for Kellen Moore's head. You can't do that. This is a team that just isn't as talented as a lot of the other teams in the league. Yeah. So you got to kind of take these losses with a grain of salt and say, hey, we knew that this team was probably not going to be that great this year, but you got to be able to bounce back. How do they bounce back next week? Can they compete with the Bills? And we saw this with Miami, right? Miami coming into that Bills game on Thursday night, no one was giving them a chance, and they fought their butts off. You know, they really fought hard and had a chance late. If you're a Saints fan, you just want to see the Saints go out there and compete in that game.
I gotcha. All right. Thank you for that analysis again. I'm sorry I had to pull you in here on a heartbreak day.
Yeah, I'm always ready, no matter what, wins or losses.
But I do, before we wrap up, I've been saying that I wanted to start giving some people some shout outs because we have some, I don't know if you know this, we have some very loyal followers.
Yes.
That we've been looking over here at the screen. That's why I keep looking down. I mean, we've got loyal followers like Melissa Price. I feel like every single Sunday watches us here on WLBT.
She's also joined in on Beyond the End Zone as well, our sports podcast.
Okay, so are we picking Melissa Price as our fan of the week?
Yes, there you go. You won that.
You won fan of the week that we just made up right then. And then I share a birthday with Miss Becky Buffkin. Yes, Becky Buffkin. We share a birthday on Wednesday.
I actually did not know that your birthday was Wednesday, so now I got to get you a present.
I don't know how I feel about that, but you know what? I'll take the present and you'll be fine.
You never told me.
All right. We're fine. Well, thank you for joining us on your Sunday night. Have a great rest of your evening and stay up to date with everything on the WLBT app and on air. Thank you for joining.